effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating Black men. I'm so over dating and just dating Black men.
Black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry Black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-Black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate.
I heard the girls are done dating Black men. So there's been an increase in conversation online, specifically Black women saying they're no longer dating Black men, although Black men may be their preference. It's not even online, because even in my personal friend group, I have a few friends that stopped dating Black men years ago, like decades ago. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I also want to preface this by saying this is not my personal opinion. I am dating a Black man, but I do think this is a conversation that's happening online and in real life. A lot of Black women are feeling this way. So I think it's worth having a conversation about it. I see this no different than when a Black man says he does not blame Black women. As a Black woman, I do not get offended or my emotions does not sway. Black women are not a monolith. What you don't like or somebody's preference excluding me, it has nothing to do with me. I feel like there's negative stereotypes in every community, but that doesn't define us. So if someone states that they do not date Asian people, as an Asian person, you shouldn't be offended, because the reason that they may not date an Asian person has nothing to do with you. That's their personal experience. So before we get deep into the conversation, I do want you guys to know people are allowed to have preferences. And if somebody's preference excludes you, it has nothing to do with you. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first video. And before I even start rolling the clips, I'm going to say the reason is pretty much the same. A lot of women say that they don't want to date Black men anymore because Black men are not providers. Black men do not know how to lead because they never had a healthy example of love. Or they feel like anytime they're in a relationship with a Black man, it's always struggle love. Then when they finally do date outside of their race, the bare minimum that they were begging Black men to provide, it became the standard with other races. So those are the main reoccurring reasons that I've seen, but we're gonna dig a little deeper.
I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating Black men. I am so tired of the lack of commitment, the lack of support, the lack of encouragement, the lack of money. Like, I don't know what to do from this point on, but I can tell you one thing. My interest in dating another Black man is like 1% at this point. They want us to be ride or dies until they get their shit together, and then they don't want to support us in return. They don't want to commit to us. They don't want to marry us, but then they want all the benefits of being a husband without actually proposing to us. I need someone who's intentional.
A lot of women feel like this. A lot of women in relationships with Black men, they feel like they have to be overly independent, overly masculine, overly strong. They have to take on the financial and the emotional load in every relationship. Basically, if you don't take this on, and then you're not a rider, or you're not there for me, you only want me when I'm up. That's the sentiment when it comes with dating a Black man a lot of times. And a lot of people don't realize that this is systematic, this is generational. As a society, we view Black women like this. Like, there's this trope. We see it in movies. We see it every day. There's this trope that Black women are strong, they're resilient, they're independent. And it's like, we are all of those things, but like, naturally we're not that. We had to be that. Like, we don't have anybody to have our back. We don't have anybody to depend on. So we have to become strong and independent. But naturally, I think women, we want to be soft. We want to have a man that we can lean on, that can provide for us. We don't naturally want to wake up masculine, and we don't want to react in that energy. But a lot of women, they have no choice but to, because they're always in a relationships with men that don't know how to lead, don't know how to support you emotionally, financially, like, don't know how to lead in any aspect. So that's definitely something that I've seen, and I stray away from men like that, because I feel like, as a man, how am I supposed to submit to you if you cannot lead me? Like, it's just physically, it's just not possible. Like, we weren't wired like that. So I definitely get her. But I do feel like society has played a part to this. Like, even like as a little girl, I can count on one hand how many movies have we got and we've seen healthy relationships of love. Like when they came out with Ruth and Boaz on Netflix, I really love that because a lot of movies by Tyler Perry and by black producers, we see the same old, a black woman supporting a black man, and he's cheating on her, draining her. Like, we don't have good examples. And I think this has played a reason as to why when black men are in relationships with black women, they feel like they do not need to step up in those roles because look at the examples. Look how society treats us. Not saying that this is 100% to blame on our system, but I do think generational and systems do play a part in this. Like,
I'm so over dating and just dating black men. Like, I'm over it. Like, black men just can't get my time no more. I've been dating black men my whole life, and honestly, it has gotten me absolutely nowhere but fuck. Like, it is just BS. I'm so over it, y'all. I started dating Asian men out of nowhere. I literally was dating an Asian man for a whole week. We went on dates straight. Courting, gentleman, just everything. Older, established. Like, these black men be on the internet flexing like they got it so good. They got it. They swear they got it. The moment you ask them for some money, it's a problem. It's this, that. Like, why are you out here flexing? But you can't even give me 1,500 off the rip when I ask you, oh, babe, can I have 1,500? Oh, it's excuse. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna send it soon. Oh, yeah, I got you. Never sends it. Then, oh, something came up. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what? I can't ask you for 1,500. Babe, my 2 car seats in the back together are over $1,000. I can't ask you for 1,500. What am I gonna do with you? Pass me the CEOs. Pass me the men who want to have a wife and children and a home. Like, not all this flexing in the club every weekend. Not all this BS. I'm so good. I'm so over it. Like, please keep it over there. Stop approaching me. Thank you.
honestly, in that case, you probably just need to be dating differently. It does not matter the race. You're talking about CEOs and businessmen. Some of those people are really stingy with their money. That's why when I prayed for a man, I wanted a gracious man. A man can have 200,000. He can be making 200, 300,000 annually and not give you a penny. Or you can have a man that makes $70,000, but he's willing to spend $20,000 on you because he is a gracious man. Like, you got to pay attention to that. The next tip I'm going to show you is actually going to be coming from a man, and he's coming with facts, y'all. I want to share this video with y'all because it's not just women, it's even men that typically date black men. They've been saying the same thing, and statistically it shows black on black marriage, they're not as successful as interracial marriages.
Girl, black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most black women are dating and marrying black men, and there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important, so I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all. 2/3 of my clients actually end up with black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed black men. Okay? Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, black households, were single mother households. So black men generally have 2 relationships with their mother. Either they were a mesh, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of black men are actually running away from black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah? Okay, number 2, money. Unfortunately, because Black men are less educated and some, systematic prejudices, racism, discrimination, Black men are not making as much money as probably they need to be. But also, they're making less money than Black women. So, and this is the only kind of racial group where this happens. And so, it is very hard to find a Black man that is making more than you. And if that is the case, oftentimes Black men will feel emasculated and often try to humble you and control you because they don't feel like they're in financial control. So that makes it a little bit challenging when you're dealing with Black men. You want to ask him what he does, right? You want to ask him, and then you want to glass door that mofo, girl. You also want to ask him how many people he manages, right? Because if he can't manage people professionally, he probably can't manage people personally. Thirdly, you want to ask about the men in his life, his mentors. A lot of Black men actually don't have many mentors. So it's really weird to say, and it feels very archaic, but it's very true. And it is this: a man is looking for an alpha man to kind of check him. That is kind of the order, orders of operation, PEMDAS, if you will, in terms of how to kind of raise a man. And so if he doesn't have mentors, a father, other elders to kind of keep him in check, he's going to be out here kind of roaming the streets like many of them are. So you want to ask him, who are his male role models and mentors? Okay. Fourthly, you have to understand something. There are 100 Black women to 88 Black men. So what that means is, and if you went to college, you understood this gender ratio gap. It means that oftentimes men have more power because there are fewer of them. So it means that they're going to have lower commitment rates and higher abandonment rates because they're going to have other women waiting for them, which isn't necessarily the case for Black women because there's so much more of them. And if you are in a bigger city, it's going to be even worse, right? It's actually like 25% more Black women than Black men. So it makes it harder to date them. So when you're asking about kind of his commitment level, you want to ask him how many relationships he's had that has lasted more than a year. Okay? And finally, the reason why it's kind of harder to date Black men is because of the micro and macro aggressions that they have to face, similar to what the aggressions that you have to face.
And we're going back to Black men. Obviously, it's not anyone's fault. We don't choose the family that we're born into. So if you do not have a father figure, it's not your fault, but he should at least be having good role models. A father, you don't have to have a father. You could just have a male role model. Like, does he have anybody that he looks up to that's aspirational, that's inspirational, that you also may look up to, or you might like the advice that they give? This is very important. And it could be a pastor, it can be just a family friend, it could be your dad. Like, it can be anybody, just a good role model. And I think a lot of times, like the women from the previous clip, you seeing a man online just holding up a whole bunch of cash, like, oh, he has the money, but you don't know what type of relationship he has with money. You don't know how.
But oftentimes, those things will lead to depression and anger for men, and they might bring it home, which can make it very hard for Black women to be with them. So you want to ask them how they deal with those sorts of aggressions on a daily basis and how they manage it mentally, intellectually, emotionally. I hope this is helpful as you evaluate Black men. And also, I want you to date everybody, right? I know that the biggest flex and in terms of being able to find success in your dating life is to be able to date everyone. I hope this helps as you navigate your dating journey. And if you want help with that, definitely book a call with me.
I don't even have to say anything. He pretty much said it all. All of these things are very insightful. And I feel like a lot of Black women, they excuse these things. Like, one of my guilty pleasures is watching that show, Pop the Bloom. A man will come on that show and he'll be like, I got 4 baby moms or 3 baby moms. And then she'll say, well, what's the relationship like with your parents? And they'll say, I never met my dad before. I have a okay relationship with my mom. And then they'll still end up choosing this man. And later, when it doesn't work out and he's aggressive or he likes to micromanage me, like, you have all these different reasons as to why it didn't work out. And you think to yourself, oh, it didn't work out because it's just Black man. It's just Black man as a whole. It's not Black man as a whole. It's you not asking the right questions and noticing the signs early. And then once you notice the signs, go ahead and move on. Y'all see how many dating story times I have on my channel. I don't waste no time. Once I feel like you do not fit the standard, it's a red flag, I go ahead and move on to the next. And that's how you're properly supposed to date. And a lot of Black women also, they don't know how to date. They meet a guy at a very young age, and they're just content with the struggle of, and they're like, okay, he's gonna change, and they just ride and ride and ride until the wheels roll off. Like, until he burns you completely out, then it's all I hate Black. No, you never properly dated and vetted enough Black men for you to just count them out as a whole, as a race. I think a lot of Black women, we just weren't taught how to date. Honestly, I didn't learn how to date until I was 23 years old, and a man had to teach me how to date. One of my own boyfriend had to teach me how to date because I did not know how to date.
I genuinely want to know why Black men make dating so difficult.
This can be explained by gender imbalance, because there is a gender imbalance between the number of Black men for Black women. And all across the globe, this is not just unique to Black people. This is seen when there's an entire generation of men that are wiped out in wars. This is seen in famine, natural disasters. Whenever the population of men and women is no longer roughly equal, it creates issues in the dating world and dating expectations, which is then adapted in culture. In America, Black people, through systemic persecution, there's just not as many Black men. And for the past 5 or 6 generations, that's sort of held true. Like, there's just more Black women reaching the ends of, their life at like a normal lifespan, like 70 or 80, than there are Black men, let alone Black boys who are even making it to adulthood. And so it creates this huge population disparity in that there are just not enough of them for us. And that's not even taking into account like homosexuality. So the dating market has adjusted to this idea that there are not as many Black men for Black women, and so Black men become a commodity to fight for. In the video that I stitched, this girl's talking about the fact that like Black men don't want to commit, they don't want to have just one family, they keep starting different families, blah, blah, blah. And that's actually very common in this phenomena, because when men have the upper hand in dating, where they get to be choosier and more selective about their partners, they don't have to commit, they absolutely take advantage of it. And our culture has adapted to that norm. At this point in 2024, we have generations of young Black men who have been raised by people with the same ideology, that there's just not enough of them as there are for us. For us, I mean women. And so you get into things like competition over men, man sharing, looser requirements for things like marriage and when to have kids, because culture adapts to environment, and our environment is not conducive to a number of like heterosexual partnerships. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the bad news is that it's kind of unfixable. Like, you can't artificially inject more Black men that are missing due to homicide and mass incarceration into the dateable population of people in their 20s, 30s, 40s. I think the good news is knowing that it's not a cultural defect. Sometimes I think these conversations are so depressing because it hinges on the idea that there's something uniquely wrong with us. And actually, no, like, this happens all the time.
Alone and started dating a white teen man, she said her life was so much better. She said she got to experience a more softer life. She didn't have to deal with as much trauma and a lot of things that BOK men come with. But baby, what y'all gotta understand is, these white teen men, they didn't have to go through the same trauma that we had to go through. Most of these men, they're set up. They have knowledge. They have businesses. They have generational wealth. A lot of us, we're starting over from square one. But one thing I refuse to do is I would never bash our men. I know what we've been through. I know that a lot of our trauma, that shit is passed down from generational stuff. But y'all can't bash her for saying that she gets to live a softer life. She don't gotta worry about as much drama and trauma as a BLK man has. Baby, them YT mans, they done grew up in happy families. They got structure. They got businesses. They got all the things that some of us BLK people are lacking. Baby, she had all the men feathers and a ruffles and a feathers. I don't know what the hell the saying is, but I know they was upset. But it's the same thing when y'all sit over here and y'all talk down about us, y'all bash us, y'all try to put us down. And then when the roles get reversed, now y'all feel some type of way. Y'all need to step up and do more. Y'all tired of us going over there and saying we live in a softer life? Give us that soft life too. We deserve to experience that, just like y'all go over there to the white teen women and say, oh, it's better over here. They got more money. They're more happier. They actually listen. Baby, we want the same thing in return from y'all too. So I'm not even mad at her for saying that, girl, do what makes you happy. Because baby, if you like it, we love it. I love seeing my BLK.
I understand exactly what she said. This is basically generational and systematic oppression. Like, we're still oppressed. Like, we're not enslaved anymore, but mentally a lot of black people still are enslaved. So the black man that was on that post, they should have understood where she was coming from. Maybe it was the delivery, but I understood exactly what that person said. That person said that she doesn't want to have to go through the struggle love, because the man that she were coming across, mentally they were still enslaved. Mentally they were still where our ancestors were at. So that's why they could not move forward. But if you're dating a man and he understands that he's gonna have to work twice as hard as his counterpart to be where he's at, then you shouldn't have no problem. And he wants to do the work, he wants to do the therapy, he wants to do the mental work to get out of that thinking, to change his psychology, then you shouldn't have a problem. But the problem is, a lot of people are still stuck in those ways. They don't want to do the mental work. They want to blame everybody else for the way things are. Like, we can't control what our ancestors endured. Like, we cannot control anything. The only thing we can do is control how we move going forward. So if a woman of color decides that she doesn't want to have to go through the mental work with a black man, because the chances of you having to deal with the struggle of is going to be increased just due to the things that we just spoke on, and she wants to date the opposite race so she can have a softer life, I think that's okay. And I'm not saying if you date out of your race, you're going to have a softer life. Like I told you, I have a friend, my best friend, she has only, for the last maybe 20 years, she has only dated white men. And she has been through some traumatizing things that I had never been through with a black man, but she's experienced with a white man. So that's why I personally, my personal belief is date based off character, not on color. But if